Hollyoaks residents will be in mourning next week as Lily Drinkwell heartbreakingly dies after suffering from sepsis. Grief strikes the village as a result, and the blame for her death points towards a number of residents. Meanwhile, the police hunt to convict Romeo continues as James tries desperately to prove his son's innocence. But will the police's discovery render all his hard work useless? Meanwhile, Maxine's secret looks set to be exposed. Here's what's coming up on Hollyoaks next week. Lily Drinkwell's heartbreaking death. Lily's last scenes will air next week as she tragically dies after suffering a self-harming relapse. It all begins when she finishes her project and is horrified when she realizes that she hasn't prepared a presentation. As everyone begins giggling, Lily suffers a breakdown, but before she is able to escape, Courtney grabs Lily's arm and sees her new scars. Courtney calls Diane and Tony for help, and they are all relieved when Lily agrees to help and checks herself into a mental health ward. While in hospital, Lily shares a room with another girl, Imogen. Prince discovers about a relapse from Peri and Yazz and is keen to see her. Meanwhile, realizing how much evidence is stacking up against Romeo, James is convinced he needs to leave the country. Read More Hollyoaks. Juliet is devastated when she sees that Romeo is leaving and realizes that the only way to get him to stay is to tell him Lily is in hospital. In the ward, Lily begins to hear a buzzing from the light and tries to stand on her bed and bang it. Imogen gets her to calm down just as Romeo arrives and tells a devastated Lily that he must leave. Romeo leaves the hospital, but Lily stops him and says that she wants to go with him. Later, Diane receives a call from the hospital saying that Lily has gone missing. She heads over to James' flat to find Romeo as the pair hide in the village. Diane then rushes to the dog to see whether Prince has heard from either Romeo or Lily, and he is fuming when he discovers they are on the run. Back at the hospital, a doctor tells Farrah that Lily's blood test results are back and that her wounds are infected. She has sepsis. In Thursday's heartbreaking episode, viewers will watch flashbacks between Lily and her mom as Romeo and Lily wait for the train. Meanwhile, Diane, Prince, and Tony rush around as they desperately try to find her. And Diane is horrified when Farrah tells her that Lily has sepsis, which is spreading to her organs. Horrified, Peri and Yazz finally tell Diane where she is, but it's too late. Hunt to find out Max's real killer. James is frantic next week when she tries to prove Romeo's innocence by finding out who the real killer is. The pair figure out that whoever killed Mac must have poisoned James too. Unfortunately for them, Breda overhears and plants a vial of poison in the coat hanging on James' chair. But when they get up, she realizes that it was Romeo's coat. The police turn up and search them both, discovering the vial in Romeo's pocket. Maxine's secret exposed. Maxine's secret looks set to be exposed, all thanks to a toy. She calls Damon and pretends she fell over. But when he is out with Minnie and Liberty, Minnie squeezes her parrot toy. Damon and Liberty then hear Maxine's voice as she admits she's not actually sick. Hollyoaks airs weekdays at 6:30 p.m. on Channel 4 and 7 p.m. on A4. Read more showbiz editors' picks.